What up, though? What's happening, everybody? It's me, Mike. And I'm solo dolo again for this video. That is all good. Eddie ain't gone nowhere. He'll be back on the next episode. Sporting Convos with Eddie and Mike. That's my guy, Eddie P. But for this video, y'all been blowing me this week. Pause. I'm talking about my squad. Just saying. I don't think a lot of y'all know what's going on. So I gotta tell a story. I gotta tell a story about a cursed Wizards fan and how it looks like things are starting to turn a corner for your boy. It's been a long time, bro. It's been a long freaking time since I've been excited about the Wizards. And yeah, after the last couple of days, a lot of people have been running their mouth about that Bam Adebayo 83, and I'm tired of it, man. Gotta let y'all know what time it is. I gotta let y'all know things ain't what they seem. Y'all let that 83-point game get y'all feathers ruffled. Started coming for my squad as if we don't know what we're doing right now. A lot of fans been talking trash. But honestly, most of it is deservedly so. And that's why I'm making this video, because like for years, decades even, my team has been basura. My team has been cheeks. My NBA basketball team has been trash. And it really goes back before the time that I'm about to start this video on. But at the same time, I'm just saying, like I said, I don't know what y'all, I don't know why everybody got to come for the Wizards because Bam scored 83, but I'm about to just fire off real quick. Because like I said, it's been a curse, man. I don't know what the curse was. Tony Kornheiser said it's the curse of Les O'Boulez. I'm unfamiliar of what the origin of that curse is. And maybe we'll talk about it on another video or something. But on this episode or this breakdown on this video, we are going to talk about just the timeline of my perspective of being a Wizards fan. I can go before the Jordan days and during the Jordan days, but I don't remember too much about the Jordan days other than that the Bama was on my team and that we weren't winning. Like straight up. That's the best I can tell you about the Jordan days. But man, we are about to get started on this presentation, and like I said, this team is just it it can be tough being a fan of this team at times, young. Like I'm gonna just keep it honest with you, especially the last few years when you know that these Bama's are about to suck, but we're surviving and it's almost over. But again, let's go ahead and go back to, I want to say, 2002, 2003, maybe. I'm a fan of the team, the basketball team. I'm in DC. God bless me by putting me in DC and being a fan of the Bullets at the time. Then they transitioned to the Wizards, and like I said, Michael Jordan came, all this stuff. But it's always been interesting, if nothing else, being a Wizards fan. Like, always got something to talk about, rather good or bad, and mostly bad. I get it, but at the same time, they keep it interesting. I ain't gonna lie. And then through this presentation, you're gonna see exactly what I mean. And like I said, winning rarely happened. They still haven't hit a 50-win season since before I was born. Since I've been born, yeah, never hit a 50-win season. I think they got close one year. I think they won 49 games, but I won 50 wins, and it hasn't happened. And like, honestly, I should have focused more on the front office on this, but I've been cooking them Bamas literally my entire life, and I'm over it. I'm tired of it. I'm not going to hash the past when it comes to the Wizards organization because the future is looking bright. But I do have to talk about the past, and how we led to this point to where we are right now. And like I said, there's hope. There's hope, but I have to go way, way back to 2003. And that's where the timeline begins, man. It was the end of the Michael Jordan era. And like I said, I really wasn't following that much that time. Um, they were searching for an identity. Like the Wizards really, really needed to find a way to move past the Michael Jordan era and into the next era, which was the Gilbert Arenas era. I'm sorry, the Gilbert Arenas era. Tongue twister again. It's gonna happen like at least once a video, but whatever. Yeah, they traded arenas. I mean, they traded 4 arenas from the Warriors, and I believe it was for a second round pick. I didn't look into the trade compensation. That was 20 years ago. Who cares? It just happened. But all we know is that that era eventually began, and it started off with arenas giving the Wizards an identity. Then he paired them with my man Karan Butler. They called him Tough Juice. And former Tar Heel Antoine Jameson. And it was the first big three that I can remember in DC. And we were excited and they were successful. Um, at one point, these Mamas were the 1 seed in the East. Now, playoff success didn't happen because they kept running into Shaq. Then they were running into LeBron. And it's like, man, like these Mamas just couldn't catch a break in the playoffs. And unfortunately, they really, really couldn't catch a break when this happened. It all fell apart. Whatever the big three was doing, it all fell apart. Karan Butler actually was the first one that got injured. I remember that. He got injured, I believe, on April 1st. And then 4 days later, my man Gilbert Arenas tore his meniscus tear. I'm sorry, tore his meniscus. And it was such a fluke. He bumped into Gerald Wallace, and next thing you know, this man just is out, down on the ground in pain. And it's like, oh, shoot, the playoffs are literally starting in like 2 weeks. And this man is down on the ground, and then you find out that he's out for 3 months. And it's like, oh my goodness. And of course, no Karan Butler, no Gilbert Arenas. And you're about to go play LeBron in the playoffs? Now, it is 2007, but this is like the beginning of the King reign. And you lost your 2 best players, bro. So, like, at what point was I supposed to expect these Mamas to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers? And it's crazy. They actually maybe could have gotten past the Cavaliers. I'm sorry, maybe they could have gotten past the first round, but unfortunately, they tied with the New Jersey Nets at the end of the season, and the Nets got the 5th seed, and they ended up playing the Bulls in the first round. And the Wizards fell to the 6th seed, and they played the Cavs, and I believe they were swept. And if they weren't swept, it was a gentleman's sweep. Um, after that, it just seemed like the Wizards just really like hit a cliff because locker room stuff started to come up. They traded Karan Butler to the Mavs, and he goes on to help them. And then Gilbert Arenas and Critton, Jarvis Critton, or however you pronounce his name, get into a card game argument that led with Gilbert Arenas bringing guns to the locker room. And it just seemed like at that point, like, what's even the point of trying to keep this together? And they dismantled the rest of the core. I believe they traded Jameson to the Cavaliers, and eventually they traded Gilbert Arenas to the Magic. And yeah, it was just horrible, horrible, horrible time to be a Wizards fan. But well, no, before they traded Gilbert Arenas, they did draft John Wall, and they did have new hope for the first time, man, since pre Gilbert Arenas injury. They got the number 1 pick. They draft John Wall out of Kentucky, and like the Bama just came in just very, very, very electric, very, very over the top. Yeah, he had to grow a little bit into the role of franchise player, but man, The start was crazy. His Dougie, I mean, he had the John Wall dance for like 2 minutes in his introduction. Calvin Cowherd was hating, and it was just a wonderful time to be a Wizards fan during the John Wall era. Um, they finally started rebuilding around him, and I believe the 2012 draft is when they drafted Bradley Beal, and once they got Bill and he developed a little bit, that's when things really started to take off. And it was the best Wizards backcourt I ever seen. Probably the best Wizards backcourt in history. Maybe Elvin Hayes has something to say about that, but I don't know. Like these two Bama's were cooking. At one point, I started calling them Sasuke and Naruto because them Bama's was cooking so bad. Like it was getting real, man. It was getting real. And remember, this is back in the day, like during peak Naruto days. So like you had to earn those names, and they did. The Bama's was cooking, man. Um, Multiple playoff appearances. I remember my favorite one was, I believe, 2015 when they swept the Raptors. Just an amazing performance from that duo. Remember, John Wall hit a dagger that like silenced the crowd in Air Canada, and it was just an amazing feeling. They even developed some rivalries, man, with the Raptors. Like I just mentioned, the Hawks. They played them a couple of times, and definitely the Celtics. Like the Celtics Wizards rivalry during the 2000, I want to say 17 and 16 seasons. Just something crazy. Like they went all black to each other's games because it's a funeral, and it was just a mess. And it eventually led to them facing each other in the playoffs. And they gave the Celtics some go. Took them to 7 games, and they lost though. And after that, things just seemed to start to go downhill for the Washington Wizards. Once again, they lost another franchise player. The fall of John Wall starts. In 2018, he injures his knee. He's out for the season. 2019, before he can even get back for real, it tears his Achilles. And I'm just saying, I got a little Achilles pain right now. I got a little foot roller under my foot. And I'm just telling y'all, Achilles pain is just not the best thing at all. And I can't imagine trying to play basketball with it. And it just seemed like the trajectory of the franchise changed overnight. Like it was really, really bad to be a Wizards fan at that time. And since then, things haven't gotten much better. And even through all of that, this bum was still the GM and the general manager. I'm sorry. And he was just the general manager for way too long, young. I could not stand Ernie Granfield. And it just sucked that he was the leader of my favorite basketball team. And there was nothing I could do about it but just sit there and hope that things could get better. But they never did. Never did. 16 years, man. I had to endure 16 years of him as general manager. While everybody was so focused on the Redskins and Dan Snyder and Benny Serrato, I'm over here like, y'all, it's a team in the city that's being ran worse. It's a team in the city that's being ran worse, and it just felt like nobody cared that this dude was just doing the dumbest decisions as the Wizards general manager. It's like nobody cared that Ernie Grunfeld was ruining a basketball team in Washington, D.C., bro. Like one of the best basketball cities in the country. But how can we feel good about it, or how can we like stick our chest out about it when a professional team is so freaking bad? So bad to the point where everybody thinks because we talk about the Commanders and the Redskins and all that, that this is a football town. No, we are a city of ballers. The DMP is a city of ballers. We all play basketball. We all ball. I got some grandmas that'll probably come across your family up. Like, don't play with us out here, man. But this dude was. And for 16 years, I had to deal with this nonsense, man. no conference finals appearance, no 50-win seasons, just straight up mediocrity. Even the best of the best was just a freaking game 7 appearance in the semifinals. Come on, man. And they finally fired Obama. But guess what? They hired somebody in the same from the same front office, one of his assistants. Nah, I ain't going front though. One of the first things he did was trade John Wall, and I just felt like that was impossible because this man was coming off a knee injury and an Achilles injury. And I just felt like they were going to have to ride that contract out or pay him out or what, and it was going to destroy the salary cap. But he traded them to the Clippers for Russell Westbrook of all people. And I remember that night. I'm in a parking lot at, I think I was at Giant. Yeah, took some people to Giant and a grocery store, and the trade broke. And I'm just sitting there. I even went live about it because I couldn't believe he was able to get out that contract. It was. I had a little hope. I was like, oh, I know he came from Ernie Grunfeld scene, but man, this was a good move to get out that contract from John Wall. But my goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. When I tell y'all that this man made an even bigger mistake, I freaking mean it. The max contract that locked the team, bruh. I get it. Bradley Beal was a good player, a great player. He was all NBA third team or second team or something like that. But he gave him a max contract extension and a no trade clause. The contract extension alone is like, dang, bro, what the heck? But then you throw the no trade clause on top of that, meaning that you're really going to be stuck with this dude until he decides he wants to leave and the team that he goes to wants to pick him up. So I'm like, it's just not good. He's not that good. And no disrespect to him, he's a great player. But even with the individual success, the team success was limited. No team success, bro. So it's like, why should I care? Why should I care that this man got his contract extension when the team isn't winning? They're making the playoffs, but that's it. And you're in the Eastern Conference. It's like, bruh, how can you not do anything in the Eastern Conference? And it's like they were just stuck in the middle, young. Like they were stuck in mediocrityville. They couldn't get any bad and they couldn't get any worse because they, like, again, they had an all NBA player on their team in a league that's superstar driven. Having an all star player, I mean, having an all NBA player on your team is going to at least get you to the playoffs more often than not. And then you throw in a vet like Westbrook, and it's like, yeah, there'll be enough to sneak in the playoffs or play in every now and then. But outside of that, nah, I just, there was no hope for this team at all. And that's when they finally brought in some people that knew what they were freaking doing. And as much as I hate the monumental sports name, the era did begin with the hiring of Michael Winger. He came from the Clippers, and he was hired as the president of Monumental Sports. And I'm like, huh? Like, is he going to run the entire organization? So what does that mean for the Wizards? Means that some more changes was coming. This wasn't just a shift to a new regime. This is a whole organization restructure. And they brought in my man Will Dawkins, a former assistant GM from the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I just felt like that was a strong, solid move because Michael Winger comes from Oklahoma City too. And putting them two together just felt like the right thing for business. And this was before Oklahoma City won their championship. I just felt like they did something good down there, and now you're seeing what OKC is doing, and you hope the Wizards can get a little something of that. And it just felt good because finally the team was going to be in a real rebuild for the first time in like over 20 years, honestly. But it had one more thing to finish off from the old era, and they found a way to do it. Bradley Beal picked the Phoenix Suns to trade to go to, and the Suns had just traded for Kevin Durant, so they didn't have any first round draft picks. But they still traded for him. And man, the haul that they got back from Phoenix is kind of crazy. It didn't seem like much, but it actually ended up being just enough to do what they needed to do to help rebuild this team and position it for a bright future. It reset the franchise, but like I said, it put them in the right future. But because of the reset, it was just going to be some ugly years, bro. Like straight up. I was trying to warn everybody that the next 3 to 4 years were going to be tough and that don't expect anything from the Wizards until like 2027. No superstar. And honestly, the lottery just was ridiculous. It kept going to other teams. And 2024, we lost out on Cooper Flag by one pick. Last year, I'm sorry, let me repeat that. 2 years prior, we lost out to Wimby by one lottery ball, and I just felt like the NBA really hustled us. A year later, we lose out to the Mavericks for the first round. I mean, the first overall pick, and don't get a chance to draft Cooper Flag. So I'm just like, forget the lottery. We'll never be able to build from there because the NBA clearly doesn't want us to get a good pick the year a good player is coming out. Even the year we got the second pick, the top player of that draft was Alex Sarr, and we almost missed out on him. But thankfully, Atlanta decided to draft whoever the heck they decided to draft, and Sarr was able to come to the Wizards at 2. And for now, the rest is kind of history. But even with all that, like, bro, I was done. Like, I was not going to watch a team lose for 4 consecutive seasons on purpose. Like, it was no way that that was going to happen. But it was necessary, man, because at some point you just had to start over. You had to start over. And trading Bill was the signal that it was going to be some tough years ahead. But within those tough years, he grabbed some ballers, man. I believe the first one on this picture was my man Bilal Koulibaly. He's a very elite athletic wing. Not elite in skills, but elite in athleticism. He was able to, like I mentioned, he draft Alex Sarr. He's a defensive anchor. I can say that now. Like I can't even say a developing one. I feel like he's a defensive anchor. And yeah, Bam did do what he did against him during that 83-point game, but obviously the Wizards were not trying that hard in that game, and I wish everybody would just understand that. My man Kaishan George, he's a sniper from deep. Same with Bub Carrington. Like he's he's a young prospect that he's not pitcher, but he's a young prospect that I'm still interested in. Gritty point guard from Baltimore. Shout out B More. My man Will Riley. He's a microwave. I feel like off the bench. Like he has a bag, and if you need some points off the bench while you're resting your starters, he can do it to you. And Trey Johnson, the rookie this season, like he reminds me so much of this Christian rapper named Keyshawn Furlough, but that's another story for another time. But I will say that the Bama just seems like he's a walking bucket right now, and he's a rookie. So after an off season and getting some strength under his belt, I just feel like things should go well for the young man. Just feel like there's a bright future for him. And with the young players in tech, it's like, okay, I wonder what they're going to do next. Are they just going to wait for the draft and add a superstar and just try to build around young players? Nah, 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 nah. Heck nah. Heck nah. What they did next was so freaking unexpected, bro. Like I just couldn't believe that they pulled these two moves off. And I know that they're controversial and a lot of people like, oh, you traded for this person and you traded for that person. But bruh, unexpected star power came. First of all, they made the trade for Trae Young from the Hawks. And I was like, wow, that's kind of impressive. I'm not the biggest Trae Young fan, but can't believe they actually went and got a star to pair with these young Bamas. And it's a point guard, the one position we kind of needed to help these players develop. You want to have a point guard on your team. But, bruh, the next trade, I still can't believe they found a way to get Anthony Davis from the Mavericks when he was just traded for Luka the year prior. So I'm just saying, like, Anthony Davis and Trae Young to pair with these young players. Are you kidding me? Now, granted, Anthony Davis is like a walk-in injury report. Like I'm just keeping it a buck. He's out for the season currently, so it's not like I'm making stuff up or wishing ill will or anything. The truth is the truth. But at the same time, if this Bama could get healthy, my goodness, it really, really, really makes things much better for this team. So, like I said, you got two veterans joining this young core, and I just feel like that was a wake up call to everybody. Like, oh, the Wizards are waking up. They may not be back, but they are making moves to signal everybody that the time is coming. So, as of right now, honestly, everything kind of just rides on the 2026 draft lottery. They still need one more star, I feel like. I know that was a lot of players on that screen, and they ain't even talking about the bench players, and I got pictures on the screen, and they ain't even talking about all the players on the screen, but they still need that one more star. One more star that can help push them over the top. And the top 5 pick could change everything. A ninth pick would destroy everything, I feel like. But as long as they can stay in these top 4, well, we'll get to that later. But yeah, they really gotta make sure that they keep this first round pick because it's going to determine the future. Like it's really getting to the point where this team is starting to grow. They're starting to want to play harder and be better. That 83-point game notwithstanding, but I can say that I'm very, very excited for the Wizards' future, and I can't wait for the end of this season so we can start talking more about what's going to happen next season and beyond. Because it's really, really been a long time since I've been this happy about this team, and we had to go through some things to get there, but we're finally almost there. We got one more half season to worry about. And if they could finish this season with a bottom 4 record, it'll guarantee that they keep their first round pick. And I just feel like they can add a player to this young core with these 2 vets that they just added. And suddenly, Will Dawkins looks like a genius at the moment. And I'm happy because I miss following my team. I miss talking to y'all about the Wizards. Pretty sure Eddie does too. He's a baller too. When I first started talking to Eddie, that man was talking about how much he played basketball and all this stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." But I've been through the Gilbert Arenas rise and fall. I've been through the John Wall years. I've been through front office mistakes and a full freaking rebuild that took 3 years. But the future is bright, and maybe just maybe the Wizards can finally build something that's sustainable and not these hot flash pans that's fragile on top of one superstar. Maybe they can build something stronger and we could be happy being the DC ballers and the DMV ballers that we are at heart. We can watch our professional basketball team play basketball as well as we have when we were growing up on our teams, whether it be rec leagues, high school, or AAU or whatever. we ball. We want to see our professional team ball and win a 50 game. Have a 50 game season. Why don't you? But that's all I got for y'all, man. Definitely didn't mean to keep y'all this long, but hey, when I'm talking about this team, I gotta talk about them. I gotta give y'all my thoughts. I gotta give y'all my feelings and passion because I really do care about them. But there was no way that I could follow them that closely over the last 3 seasons. But it's almost over now, and I'm almost free. Like I said, me and Eddie want to catch our Bama's on the next episode of Sport Convos with Eddie and Mike. You can also find me on Commanders of Classified and Hail Mary House. But for now, that's it. Hope y'all enjoy. Peace.